Welcome to the Airframe and Powerplant crash course. In these videos, we will give you a synopsis of the material contained in the FAA handbooks for people preparing for certification with airframe or powerplant ratings. Okay, let's get started with Chapter 1, Safety, Ground Operations, and Servicing. In this chapter, we'll look at safety practices, ground operations, and service around the aircraft while it is on the ground. Before we get into safety, let's talk a bit about communications. Clear, concise communications is of the utmost importance in aviation. In the illustration above, you can see the International Standardized Aeronautic Alphabet: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, etc. When an aircraft is on the tarmac, only rated pilots and qualified airframe and power plant technicians are authorized to start, run up, and taxi aircraft. All taxiing operations are performed in accordance with applicable local regulations. An aircraft maintenance technician must be familiar with all the cabin systems. The pilot can't see obstructions close to the wheels or under the wings and has little idea of what is behind the aircraft. Consequently, the pilot depends upon the taxi signalman for directions. A taxi signalman can assist the pilot around the flight line. In some aircraft configurations, the pilot's vision is obstructed while on the ground. The following section provides detailed instructions on taxi signals and related taxi instructions. The pilot receiving the signals is always some distance away and often looks out and down from a difficult angle. The signalman's hands must be kept well separated, and signals are to be over-exaggerated rather than risk making indistinct signals. If there's any doubt about a signal, or if the pilot does not appear to be following the signals, use the stop sign and begin the series of signals again. The signalman must glance behind himself or herself, often when walking backwards, to prevent walking into a propeller or tripping over a chalk, fire bottle, tie-down line, or other obstruction. The standard position of a signalman is slightly ahead of and in line with the aircraft's left wingtip. As the signalman faces the aircraft, the nose of the aircraft is on the left. This is an international standard practice. The signalman must stay far enough ahead of the wingtip to remain in the pilot's field of vision. If the signalman can see the pilot's eyes, the pilot can see the signals. At night, taxi signals are given with the aid of illuminated wands attached to flashlights. Night signals are made in the same manner as day signals, with the exception of the stop signal. The stop signal used at night is the emergency stop signal. This signal is made by crossing the wands to form a lighted X above and in front of the head. The following section provides detailed instructions on taxi signals and related taxi instructions. The signals shown in this slide represent a minimum number of the most commonly used signals. Flagman directs pilot to signalman if traffic conditions require. Signalman's position, signalman directs towing. Stop. Come ahead. Emergency stop. Cut engines. These signals are published in the FAA Aeronautical Information Manual. There are other standard signals, so whether this set of signals or a modified set is used is not the most important factor, as long as each flight operational center uses a suitable agreed-upon set of signals. The taxi signals to be used must be studied until the taxi signalman can execute them clearly and precisely. The signals are to be given in a way that the pilot cannot confuse their meaning. Start engines. Pull chocks. Insert chocks. Slow down. All clear. Left turn. Right turn. Night operation. These next slides illustrate some of the most commonly used helicopter operating signals. Start engine. Engage rotor. Stop rotor. Stop. move back, move forward, move right, move left. Most helicopter operation signals are different from airplane signals. Takeoff, landing direction, go up, go down, swing tail to right, swing tail to left. Here are the standard FAA taxi light signals used by control towers to control and expedite the taxiing of aircraft. All taxiing operations are performed in accordance with applicable local regulations. The International Air Transport Association's Ground Operations Manual sets the safety standards for ground support equipment at airports to ensure ground operation activities are safely accomplished. Next, we'll look at safety practices, ground operations, and servicing. In the aviation field, FOD is the acronym for Foreign Object Damages. Foreign object damage is any damage to aircraft, personnel, or equipment caused by any loose object. FOD can also be used to refer to any object, live or not, located in an inappropriate location in the airport environment that has the capacity to injure airport or air carrier personnel and damage aircraft. Some examples are coins, nuts, bolts, tools, cans, safety wires, concrete, gravel, wooden skids, plastic sheets, cartons, netting, luggage wheels and handles, paperwork, birds. FOD can damage numerous aircraft components, engines, control systems, power supplies, etc. Pick up any debris and place in appropriate area or dispose of properly. Aircraft have been damaged and destroyed due to FOD while operating on the ground and in flight. This happened with Air France Flight 4590 on July 25, 2000. The Concorde suffered a fatal, tragic takeoff after an FOD on the runway hit and punctured a fuel tank and burst into flames. The aircraft crashed, resulting in the death of 113 souls. As you can see, FOD is involved in many economic losses in engines, tires, and aircraft, and tragic accidents. These are the recommendations for ground operations regarding FOD. The workfloor area around the aircraft must be kept clean of FOD at all times. The airstrip, ramp, and airways of the aircraft must be kept clean of FOD. The areas used to perform engine run-ups must be kept clean of FOD. No person is allowed to leave a messy area unattended. The entire work area should be cleaned immediately before and after completing a task. Any tool left on an aircraft is a potential FOD. For safety, there must be tool control. Tool control strictly enforced. All tools must be inventoried. Inventory is subject to periodic inspection by aircraft maintenance and/or quality assurance personnel. Report any lost tool to aircraft maintenance and/or quality assurance personnel. A lost tool can down an aircraft until found. Personal protective equipment is a mandatory type of equipment that employees have to use or wear to protect themselves from the risks in their work environment. There are various hazards at an airport, so this type of equipment is highly important. Airport maintenance crews and ramp personnel should be equipped with hearing protection, hand protection, and foot protection. Here you see the safety equipment that must be used during ground operations. Wand lights, ear protectors, fluorescent safety vests, safety glasses, safety harnesses during tasks on the wings or in the fuselage crown. This concludes our first video on safety, ground operations, and servicing. In the next video, we will cover ground support equipment.